I, female 32, have 4 rescue pigeons that cannot be released because of health reasons, like can't fly. They're happy birds and have a good life. I live alone in an inherited house, and half of the top floor is converted into a big pigeon room where they have all their stuff. They're trained to potty in specific places, but can roam around the house except the kitchen. They have their sleep places in the big room and are locked there at night for their safety. My friend, female 32 Chantel, though we're not really friends anymore. We were a long time ago. Now we just kind of know each other as our lives move down in totally opposite direction. Has currently 2 kids and is 5 months pregnant with her 3rd. Her partner was locked up a few months back, and she is about to be evicted because she hasn't paid rent in 12 months. One day out of the blue, she knocked on my door and started chatting. She told me everything and asked if it would be possible for me to let her move in and she'd pay rent. I refused, saying that I don't have the room for her and the kids. She told me I could get rid of my birds and they could take the room upstairs. I said that absolutely not, and unfortunately I won't be able to help her. She freaked out, told me I was a selfish a-hole, that I care about doing more for animals than humans, and a lot of other nasty things. I kicked her out. I rarely go on Facebook. I have my old one from uni, but I rarely go. And not even 24 hours after I kicked Chantel out, my other friend messaged me to log in to see what's happening, and Chantel was lagging me off everywhere, posting nasty things, and her friends joined her, and it was so very nasty. I do feel bad though, and I wonder if they're right. Perhaps I am the a-hole here. Should I have let her stay with me? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. She got kicked out for not paying rent for over a year and then told you she'd definitely pay you rent? Does that seem likely to you? You'd end up being trapped in your own home by someone who'd then claim, I have a newborn, you can't kick me out, and constantly find another reason to force you to let her occupy your home with her family while contributing nothing. That was what got me too. Entitled lady won't pay a dime. Not the a-hole OP. Exactly. And if all her friends are so happy to jump on board the trash OP train, why don't they put her up? OP's definitely not the a-hole and dodged a bullet. Who the heck knocks on someone's door and asks them to get rid of their pets so they can move in? Not the a-hole. Especially when it's someone you haven't really been in contact with for some time. So not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Chantel's situation is sad for her and especially her kids, but it is not your responsibility. Why can't one of the friends who joined her in slagging you off take her in? Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking when I read this. Let one of those friends of hers take her and her brood in. My best guess is that they won't, because they know they won't get rent money. I, 33 female, and my husband, 36 male, have been together for 3 years. Recently married this past year, and we have a 1-year-old child together. My husband has 2 kids from a previous marriage, Zara, 16 female, and Sam, 18 male. My husband is a disabled veteran, and his child support is based on his government compensation, Social Security. Social Security determines the amount of child support his ex-wife receives per child, and her child support payments dropped in half when our son turned 18 and dropped out of high school. We had no issues with his ex-wife until we married, and now his ex-wife wants more money because my income is significantly more than my husband's. His ex-wife also wants compensation for their 18 male, who lives at home with her. We told our son Sam that he could live with us, as long as he promised to work on his GED, but he refused. I currently pay for Zara's cell phone and car insurance. So am I the a-hole for not offering more money for child support? Just want to add, ex-wife worked at CVS as a pharmacy tech for years. When I married my husband, she quit her job and started part-timing as a waitress. Ex-wife and the kids live with the grandparents, and we see the kids maybe once a month due to both kids having jobs. Ex-wife does not want to go to court because she is still paying on lawyers' fees from her second marriage and custody battle, so she wants us to come to an agreement to give her more money. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Take her to court. She gave up a better-paying job to be a waitress and is trying to leech off you and your husband and expects you to pay for a legal adult kid who has made a bad choice of not continuing or even finishing his education? Woof. We recently found out that Zara is missing school, and the ex-wife texted my husband that she will have our daughter drop out of school before being taken to court by the school for failure to go to school/truancy. Our daughter drives to school, and her mom works evenings, so she's at home when our daughter is missing school. Seems like the husband needs to get CPS and law enforcement involved. Your income has nothing to do with his child support. Not the a-hole. Just need to be careful about the possibility of imputed income, depending on where you live. True, I live in Netherlands and the income of the new partner may mean that you have to pay more alimony here, because from that moment on, you can share living costs with someone which increases your financial capacity. Not the a-hole. She shouldn't have left her better paying job to wait tables. Her financial situation is not your problem. Furthermore, she knows what she is asking is too ridiculous to take to court and is hoping you'll take pity on her. It's what it looks like. I hope your husband is in agreement with you. Joint finances or not, it would be coming from money you earned. And the layabout son needs to do something to better his life as well. Yeah, we are getting mixed opinions from my husband's family if we should give more money or not. My husband agrees with me. Anytime our older kids need clothes or shoes, we pay for them. We give the kids gas money. We've also helped with their car repairs. So we don't understand her logic for us giving her more money a month just because. We told the ex-wife that both kids could live with us if the financial strain was too much, and she adamantly refused. I also want to add that his ex-wife has claimed both kids on her taxes since their divorce 10 years ago. So, if both kids lived with us, she wouldn't receive child support or tax credits. Basically, my wife and I, 29 male/24 female, bought our own house a couple of years ago and got 2 flatmates in to help pay the mortgage. 2 bedrooms plus ensuite for us to use and 1 bedroom each plus shared bathroom for the 2 flatmates. One flatmate, Alex, pretty much keeps to herself while the other one, Caitlin, 32 female, is quite strongly opinionated and much more social. Caitlin is also child-free and occasionally very vocal about it. It's not constant, but when something child-related comes up, she will interject without fail. Anyway, wife and I were finally successful in conceiving and decided to tell both of our flatmates 3 months into the pregnancy. We chose 3 months as we didn't want to announce it to anyone too early in case of a miscarriage, but also wanted to give flatmates plenty of time to find somewhere else if they understandably didn't want to live with a newborn. In the end, both said they wanted to stay flatting with us as the location is good and the house is newly built, as most houses in my country are cold and damp, turn-of-the-century wooden cottages. Anyway, almost immediately after this, Caitlin begins making snide remarks about our soon-to-be child. Things like she should get a discount on rent for putting up with a baby, she's not going to get any sleep with the baby in the house, we should have told them we were trying, etc. At first, my wife just brushed these off, though I did have a word with Caitlin that they're not appreciated. Since then, the snide remarks became more frequent and rude, like calling us selfish for bringing a child into this world, saying our social lives are going to be over, etc. After a couple months of this, I decided that I didn't want to put up with this kind of negativity in what will be a very stressful but also special time of my life. So, I consulted with my wife, and with her support, have decided to kick Caitlin out of our house. As a flatmate without a formal signed rental agreement, she actually has no tenancy rights in my country, though I still opted to give her a month to find a new place as a sign of good faith. Caitlin is throwing a hissy fit saying I'm being unfair, that since she pays rent, she should have a say in the direction of the household, and that we were selfish for having a kid without even telling flatmates. Alex is on the fence, though has expressed that I'm being a bit unfair to Caitlin. Wife, as I said, fully supports me, though she's less annoyed by her behavior than myself if I'm being honest. So yeah, am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your peace of mind in your house comes first, and she sounds insufferable. Yeet her. I agree, not the a-hole. As long as no laws are being broken, renting a room in someone's house does not give you the right to dictate how they choose to live. Just because someone is anti-child, anti-vax, anti-pet, or anti-pasta, they don't have the right to expect others to live by their personal viewpoints. It's part of why I am against any laws being made that are based on the religious beliefs of any one set of people, especially if the law is expected to apply to everyone. I don't mean the rules that apply universally of don't steal, don't kill, don't maliciously lie, etc. I'm talking about the my religion says not to get tattoos. So even if your religion says you can, I am making a law that forces you to live by the rules of my religion, not yours. Kinda stuff. There are 2 types of child-free people. One just doesn't wish to have children, but they accept that children are a part of life and usually enjoy interacting with kids. The second type hates children, thinks they shouldn't exist, and makes everyone around them miserable. Your flatmate is the latter. If she stayed, she would get even more obnoxious after the baby arrives. I mean, how dare she say you should consult her about your family planning? Kick her out in good conscience, not the a-hole. This is more than that. This woman is a moron. It's one thing to hate being around kids, but you don't slag off the landlord's unborn child if you intend to live there, and act like you should somehow be consulted about their family planning. Totally not the a-hole. Since she pays rent, she should have a say in the direction of the household would apply if you were all renting the place together and were on equal footing, not in a situation where you owned a house and you happen to have 2 spare bedrooms that you're renting out. Also, she was informed in plenty of time, chose to stay anyway, and is now being a prick about it. I-32 female was violated when I was 17 during a home invasion when I was home alone. It has taken me years of intensive therapy to learn to live with what happened to me, and I am now in a great place and overall happy. I should mention that as part of my healing process, I've taken Muay Thai/kickboxing since I was 18 to help develop a sense of control and self-defense. One of my few triggers due to the nature of how my attack went down is being grabbed from behind. Being grabbed from behind automatically makes me panic and triggers my PTSD. All my close friends and family are aware of this. They don't all know the reason behind the fear, they just know not to do it, including my brother-in-law. Now, on to the AITA part. Last week, I hosted a get-together with a couple of family and friends at my home. My brother-in-law, 29 male, has always been something of a prankster/jokester. In the 5 years that he and my sister have been together, we have gotten along fairly well, and his prankster ways has never been an issue since he's never really directed them towards me. At one point during the evening, I went upstairs to change. My brother-in-law thought it would be hilarious to scare me as a prank. While heading back downstairs in the hallway, he came out of the guest room and grabbed me from behind. I lost it, and in my panic, I elbowed him in the face, which ended up breaking his nose. Even after everyone rushed upstairs and I saw it was just him, I could not stop spiraling and was in a full meltdown. I ended up calling him every name in the book and kicking him out of my home. Now that a few days have passed, my sister reached out stating that she thinks I need to apologize. Her reasoning being that he had no way of knowing that pulling a harmless prank would have caused such a reaction, especially since he didn't know the reason behind my fear. I stand by that it doesn't matter that he didn't know the details of why I was scared. He was aware that it was a debilitating fear caused by something traumatic and should have known better. Not to mention that he has yet to apologize to me as I broke his nose. Our family believes that my violent reaction was justified, however, they do think that kicking him out was a step too far. My female 25 husband, male 28, doesn't have a job. He takes care of the house chores while at work. His sister, female 22, came to stay with us a few weeks ago because of a fight she had with her parents. Neither wanted to tell us what happened. I didn't want her here. She isn't in school, doesn't work, doesn't do anything to help with the chores, is a spoiled brat, acts entitled, etc. I only agreed to let her stay here for a week. It's been 6 weeks. I honestly can't stand to live with her anymore. She makes a mess everywhere, has parties when me and hubby aren't home, plays music on max volume till 4 in the morning. She's rude, breaks stuff, and disrespects all my boundaries and house rules. Finances aren't good either with the extra expenses. So last night, I sat them down and told them that she needs to leave in a week because I'm done. I haven't had a real night's sleep in 6 weeks. The apartment is a mess because my husband can't keep up with the mess she makes. And I'm reaching rock bottom with the expenses. He asked if I would let her stay if she would get a job, and I said yes. That would mean she won't have the energy to stay up till 4 a.m. and make a mess, and she will also contribute financially. She ran out screaming that she isn't getting a job, and that I'm a witch. I called mother-in-law and asked her again why they had a fight. Well, she's pregnant. Baby daddy disappeared into the night when he heard the news. She expected her parents to provide and they said no, so she came here. I told my husband, and he was shocked but said we can't kick her out now. I said, yes, we can, and we are. I will not be financially responsible for her anymore. I will not be financially responsible for her child. I will not have a child in my home as I strongly dislike kids. I don't need the noise, the mess, the smell, the extra expenses. Hubby said he understands that I don't want any of this, but we can't kick her out because she has nowhere to go since his parents won't let her move back home. I simply said either she goes or I go. I'm sick of him enabling her behavior. He always makes excuses for her. He bends backwards for her. Well, I'm not going to. She is an adult. She isn't in school. She doesn't work. She wants to have a baby? Okay, then she needs to grow up and provide for herself. She isn't disabled, sick, mentally incapacitated, or anything else that would stop her from working. She just doesn't want to work. Her parents spoiled her too much when she was younger, and now she thinks the world revolves around her. My friends and my in-laws agree with me, but my parents say I'm the a-hole for kicking out a pregnant girl and making my husband choose between me and her. I'm not changing my decision no matter what. If she's not out in a week, I will be. But I'm curious if I'm the a-hole. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your sister-in-law, huge a-hole. Your husband, enabling a-hole. If your parents want to take her spoiled butt in, great. If they don't, then they can stop being a-holes about your decision. You literally took the words out of my mouth. Mom and Dad, her own parents won't shelter her. But if you want to, I'll share your address and you can provide her with a home and pay for her expenses and clean up after her. Your husband, I'm sorry, is not very smart. He doesn't work or provide any financial contribution, and he can't even clean up enough behind one person or cause her to be less messy. And this solution after she can't go to school or get a job or behave like a good roommate or clean up after herself is that she deserves a place to stay because she got herself pregnant and has no plan, when even his own parents won't shelter her, is we have to house her now. That way we can not only do all of these bad things but also be responsible for her child. You and your husband should talk to your in-laws. They are the ones who created this monster, and he's the one who keeps feeding it, not the a-hole. In-laws aren't going to do anything. They kicked the sister out but refused to tell their son why so that he'd take her in and she'd become his problem. Bad if sister does get kicked out. Opie and her husband will catch grief from the in-laws for kicking out his pregnant sister. Not the a-hole, but Opie, you already have 2 kids in the house and you're just trying to get rid of one of them. Make it a twofer and reclaim your life. If Opie does that, the Xbox and couch will get lonely. Not the a-hole. If your parents say you're the a-hole, then let them take care of her themselves. If your friends and even her own parents agree with you, then I don't think you need any more confirmation from anyone. You don't need to feel guilty over this.